You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. How is everyone doing tonight? We're here, and you're finding us on our Facebook pages or maybe our YouTube channel. Good evening, Tamara. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, running like a mad woman as always, but I'm good. Al, how are you?
Yeah. I know. Sometimes just you are just running your. How do your shoes survive? Like you must go through many pair.
Well, here I was telling Alvin because Alvin was home for a week. I said, when I'm at work, I don't sit down, and if I'm at work for 12 hours, I haven't sat down for 12 hours. So my feet, thankfully, I've got some Skechers, so it's not so bad. My feet hurt, my back hurts, I ache every day. But I like my job so much because I'm in a kitchen and I'm baking. And before, if anybody knew, I had Kick-Ass Canified, which was my home bakery that I would bake infused, brownies and candy and so being in a kitchen for me, I don't think anybody's really shocked, but my motivation is that if I can learn and get everything, down pat, that once we're allowed to legally infuse foods and open a business, like a restaurant or a bistro, that's been my dream, a cannabis infused bistro. I've been talking about that for 10 years. So This is my motivation to the madness of why I'm working in a bakery, or it's actually a catering company now, or whatever. We're kind of like a combo of all kinds of things, and this week is rodeo week. So we're prepping for a 3-day rodeo. It's the 35th annual White Cliff Rodeo, Pro Rodeo. So we're taking our food concession out there, and I rolled probably 500 sausage rolls in the last 2 days.
Well, you got the rolling experience. There's no doubt about that.
My boss has been in the business for 35 years. So I've got a great mentor that's helping me and learning and teaching me. And she's not a cannabis user, but she's definitely a cannabis friendly person. So it's not like I have to hide my cannabis from my boss. She doesn't consume it, but she's not against it. And in fact, she mentioned that if they would have been allowed to open a bakery when she had Barb's Bakery, she was going to open MJ's next door as a cannabis infused bakery too. So she's on the same page as I am.
Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. It's good. There's lots of people out there that are like her that are supporters, and they don't have to be consumers, but they understand that people use it for medical reasons and recreational uses as well. It's not something that as we've all been told over the years, is the demon weed.
Well, I do to a point understand why some people mistrust the government, because they have lied to us about cannabis, right? And they've lied to us about drugs as well, right? But in hindsight, I think it was just lack of knowledge, lack of education on their behalf. And because they had advocates like yourself and myself and others, hundreds of the rest of us across the country, that sat in their offices and informed them and educated them that cannabis wasn't the devil's lettuce, and that it didn't make you lose your mind and want to, like reefer madness with all the lies that they were spewing. So I can understand the mistrust of the government on some level, but if you don't educate them, they're never going to learn. So you can't expect people to know stuff if you don't teach them.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
And we did. Yeah. We educated them. We went and talked to them. And that's, I think, how we got through, honestly.
Yeah, just like your boss is teaching you on this baking stuff. And from my understanding, you're going back to work after this show?
Yes.
Getting ready for all those people attending the rodeo.
Yes. We have to go out there and make sure that the Wi-Fi is going to work, because we have limited cell service, and we don't know whether we can use our point of sale or not. So we've got to drive back out there tonight and make sure that we've got everything lined up, because the trailer goes out tomorrow. So we just have to make sure that everything, because if we have, we've got power, we know we've got power, but if we have no cell service, we can't use our point of sale, which is our debit machine. right? And we
Right.
found that out when we were at because we did it was called Hometown for Hunger on Monday of last week, where we went and raised money for the Salvation Army. And
Right.
we give part of our proceeds to that. They raised over $9,000 last Monday for the Salvation Army food program, which feeds our
49,000.
kids.
You said
Not over
49.
9,000, just over 9,000.
Just over 9,000. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's still
yeah,
good. You know,
yeah.
49,000 would have been fantastic,
Right,
but 9,000 is still great.
right. But the Salvation Army here does the food programs for our kids for schools and stuff. So and they keep the money local. So we took the trailer out last
Yeah.
Monday, but when we got there, we had no power. So we couldn't use our till. And then finally somebody came with a generator. But if we would have known we would have had power, we would, so we had to do cash. Well, people don't usually have cash. So
No,
yeah,
not these days. It's all
right.
tap,
So
tap,
we just want to
tap,
make sure
tap.
we just want to make sure we've got everything lined up, because if we need to take the till and only take cash, we can do that. But again, we'd like to be
Right.
able to take our debit machine with us so that people can use their debit machines. And we also have an option where if you want your order, you can order from your seat. You get a number. By the time you get to the window, your order will be ready. All you do is hand us the number instead of having to
Okay.
stand in line. So we want to set
Oh,
that
yeah,
up.
that's
So,
good.
right.
And yeah, people don't like standing in line. That's for sure.
And when
So,
we rumor is they've sold over 5,000 tickets already.
oh, I didn't catch all that. You were frozen there. I didn't catch all that.
I said the rumors have it that they sold almost 5,000 tickets already
Oh, wow. Holy smokes. So you got lots of people coming.
from all over the place. It's a pro
Yeah,
rodeo.
great. Good stuff. Good to
Yeah.
hear. All righty.
What's
What do you
new with
say,
you, Al?
10? Huh?
I said, so what's new with you?
Hey, what's new with me? Not a lot right now, actually. No, not that I can think of. No,
Well, I
just
guess
the
we
same
better bring our
old.
guest in then. Bring in
Yeah,
Lisa
yeah. I
so we can
just,
find out
doing.
what's new with her.
That's right, exactly. So at this time, we'd like to introduce our guest to the show. He just happens to be a person who's going to tell their story. Plus, we're going to talk about much more. And we'd like to welcome Lisa Winter to the Pace Radio Show. Welcome, Lisa. How
Hello,
you doing?
everyone. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Pleasure to have you.
We've never met. Yeah, we never met before until 2 weeks ago at
That's right.
the Indigenous Cannabis Cup.
That is correct. Yes, I saw you in your little camera. As a matter of fact, I believe Tamara was on the line as well.
No, I
Because
know it
you
was
were
Irene.
asking her something.
It was Irene.
Oh,
It was
Irene. That's right, Irene.
Green
Yeah.
Irene. Yeah, it was Green Irene. She was running the board for me that day. Back at on the computer. It just makes it easier, right? You can run it from your phone, but it's just so much easier to do it from a laptop or a computer versus
Yeah.
in your phone. You're always poking like this, so people are seeing your finger, right? So yeah, Green Irene was with me, and we were asking you questions and talking to you about stuff, and I told you a bit about what we do here at the Pace Radio Show, where we share patient stories, and we talk to businesses, whatever that just to get the word out, and even advocates that who aren't they're just barely local. They just want to have an opportunity to speak out and say something. So we like to give people an opportunity to have a voice, and that's part of what we do here. So let's get started. I'm going to ask you, a pretty simple, straight up and forward question that sometimes for some people it's funny, sometimes it's not, and
Okay.
that happens to deal with the early times of cannabis use. Maybe your early experience, one of your first experience. Maybe you got something that was really funny, or maybe you're a person who wasn't doing it for recreational. You were against it, and all of a sudden you got injured somehow, or whatever your story is, and you found cannabis as a benefit.
So yes, actually, I tried it for the first time recreationally. I remember I think it was around 15 when I took my first hit. And My mother's going to kill me. But it was in my mother's garage when I snuck some friends into the basement. One of these girls, she had a pinner. We used to call them back in the day. A pinner is a little one paper, right? So she's
Yeah.
upstairs in the garage and I'm smelling something. I'm like, what is that? So I go upstairs and she's like, here, try this. I'm like, okay, great. What is it? She's like, it's weed. And I'm like, okay, let me try some. So I remember I ended up smoking half of it, but I didn't get high at all. So I didn't understand why
There are
people were using
yeah.
it. But then
Yeah.
I heard usually when you hit your first joint, I don't know if it's true, but maybe perhaps you can tell me that you don't get a buzz.
I've never heard
There
that
are
before.
people who are like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Turns
So
out
have I.
I was one of them.
I've heard.
So I didn't figure out or understand why people kept doing it. Then I was at another place and I tried it and I got the buzz and I loved it. And it just continued from there. Mostly because it would help me calm down with my anxiety. You know, I had some anxiety issues and stuff like that. So it really calmed me down and put me at ease.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Yeah,
people
exactly.
do that too. Yeah. I think a lot of people find it that it's relaxing. Where,
Yeah.
like some people drink because they find that relaxing, where other people find that cannabis is more relaxing. It takes the anxiety away. If you have the proper strain, some people get paranoid too. So there's
Yeah.
the two sides of the aspect of cannabis, depending on, you know, what the strain is, and whether it's a sativa, whether it's an indica. And I think that
Yeah.
because back in the day, let's look, I started smoking weed in 1986 when it was dirt weed, and they would go and buy like an eighth of pot, and it was literally like a branch with buds still attached to it that was wet. They just picked off the branch and threw it into a bag, charged you $40, and you got a joint of it after 4 days of letting it sit out on a plate, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knew how to cure pot. Like it was, there was so, and as it evolved through the 90s and into the 2000s, and it really took off after medical. So once the MMAR came into effect, and there was people that were actually able to use it for medical reasons, and they started doing the research and crossbreeding strains, and the illegal side of things, and the growers, like that's when we really got the perfection on curing and the strains and the different crossbreeds and the education on what belongs to who and who belongs to what, right? If you get my
Yeah.
meaning. So no wonder you didn't get high. You're probably smoking fucking some dirt
Well,
weed.
I'll
Bushweed.
tell you, we've got a listener who has his opinion on why he didn't get high. All right.
Okay.
Here it is. He says you likely tried oregano.
Possible. That's
Yeah, that was
possible.
from Scott.
You know
There
what?
was a guy in my school that got busted for selling oil in the arcade, and then they tested it was molasses. So, not kidding
Yeah,
you.
in our neighborhood, we used to say, oh, that's oregano, or sometimes they would mix tea leaves in there.
Yeah.
And then
People
when hydro came out, they used to call it Windex weed because they used to spray it with Windex to make it more potent. That's what we heard.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's why
I
we
know.
never smoked the hydro. We were always looking for the zest. Yeah.
Oh, spraying it with Windex. I've heard about
Yeah.
people spraying it with Coca-Cola in order to make it stickier.
That's
Okay.
hash. They used to mix Coke with hash to make it so that it was like give it weight
Really?
with blonde hash. Yeah, I knew people that used to do that. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that they've done to cannabis to make it so that no wonder the government was saying it was bad for you, and it was whatever, right? Because
Exactly.
whatever they got that they were busting, that they were testing, being illegally grown with pesticides and all kinds of stuff in it. Who knows what they were getting, right? So like there's the flip side to that, where they really lying to us, or the crop that they were growing back then that they were wasn't good for us, right?
That's right. Yeah.
To say, right?
Yeah, things have
Definitely.
certainly changed. So your first experience was something like that. Obviously you didn't get high, as you said. You snuck some people into the basement. Mom knows about all that.
Love
Sorry,
you,
Mom.
Mom.
The so did you continue on? Did you stop using cannabis and then you found another reason to use it afterwards?
Yeah, so I used cannabis daily up until I was about, I want to say the last time I stopped was when I was 27. Um, A, to make my parents happy, and B, I was also training. I was in mixed martial arts actually since the age of 14. I started
Wow.
in Taekwondo, ITF.
Oh,
Yes. And then I won a championship on the Ontario Championships, actually, bronze
oh,
and
nice.
silver. Yeah.
Our
And
sponsor, Legacy 420, they also sponsor a mixed martial arts fighter as well.
oh, that's wonderful. I love
Yeah,
that. I love
female
it.
fighter. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
They've got pictures of her and stuff like that in the in Tim's office there at the store.
I'll go check it out for sure. That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. They actually, yeah. Okay, you keep going on your story. Sorry.
So when I went, then I started switching and I went to an all mixed martial arts, even with weapons retraining. And it turned out my master trained Lennox Lewis before
Oh,
for his fights. So
really?
I was like, okay, here we go. And that's when I started training. Oh, a couple years after that, I started training to be a professional fighter. Um, my goal was to be the first woman in the Toronto UFC, the first female fighters. That
Yeah.
was my goal. And that was occurring in 2010. And so I
Nice.
stopped. I cleaned up for that reason and a couple other reasons, as I mentioned. But yeah, so I stopped. And unfortunately, in 2009, September 25th, a drunk driver hit me from behind, and
Whoa.
he stole my life.
So
Stole
you're
my
like,
life. Yeah.
yeah.
So I couldn't pursue that career
Yeah.
anymore.
Just so you know, got another message from our friend Scott for what something you said there. He says, "Wow, way to go, impressed. I know Lennox as well." Yeah,
That's
Scott. What?
incredible.
Scott. I know Scott. He's got his own network as well. THCNN,
Okay.
and he knows a lot of people. So um,
Awesome.
you saw him.
Yeah,
There
God,
you
his
go.
name was Mr. Wong from Sun Lung Training Center in Scarborough. I used to take the bus 2 hours there and 2 hours back
Holy
just to
smoke!
train.
That's
Yeah.
dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yes, exactly. So, so you got rear-ended. Was this it?
Yeah.
I guess, drunk? You said drunk driver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a drunk driver. He was driving a Dodge Viper, going
Oh,
about 80 kilometers, I think, and he slammed into my back when I was stopped at a red light. And I had a full car. I had a full car. I was the
oh.
designated driver taking my girls out on the night of the town.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
And get rear-ended at a car
get
that's doing 80
rear-ended.
kilometers an hour, and you're sitting still.
Yeah,
And obviously, injuries. Uh,
plenty. Life-changing injuries. The first immediate issues I began having, other than whiplash and spine pain, obviously, and knee pain, was my hand. I wasn't able to close it or bend it or use it. It was constant pain. And it
mhm,
ended up that I somehow, in the accident, shredded the tendons and sagittal
mhm.
bands. Sagittal bands is like elastics around the tendon that allows you to do this.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
those were shredded. So I had to have one surgery, didn't work, and then I had a second surgery, and it worked.
There were good stuff.
Yeah,
I know that you included one of those, the photo
yeah, pretty
of your
gruesome stuff.
hand. It was all, yeah, all wrapped up, bandaged up, and
Yep.
uh,
And I had that different devices similar to that one that I sent you, and I had it on my hand up until 2014.
so
And I
4
had
years.
constant pain in my hands, constant pain.
You would have to therapy again in order to be able to learn to get this
Yeah,
to get those muscles to work all over again after
that is
being.
correct. Yeah, and I did so for 3 years at the hospital occupational therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's where I went to hospital for therapy.
Yeah.
I got run over by a forklift, so
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I had my ankle. I got a pin implanted in my ankle because of it. So no, doing it once
You're
wasn't enough.
lucky you're alive.
Well, luckily you only ran over my foot. That's all. So that's a good thing.
Those things are quite heavy.
They are. I know.
Wow, you're a miracle. I guess we all are in some way.
Yeah. So then you had your injury. You know, you got to do through training, all that.
Yeah.
Um, did you ever get back to your fighting again?
No, it's
I
it's
mean,
impossible. I can't make a fist. I can't close this hand. It just doesn't move.
Oh,
Yeah. And it's not only my hand. I had some serious spinal and tailbone
I guess. Yes.
conditions right after. It was a horrible experience, and thankfully the doctors did say that because I was in that physical form, that's actually what stopped me from being in a worse position than what I was. Not a
Right.
broken bone. So
No broken bones, but yet
no broken bones, but all tendons, joints, like bone pain, all that stuff, side effects.
muscle,
So the nerve side,
tendons.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I have something called subluxation and degeneration of the spine, which is basically the spine is disintegrating because it's bone on bone. Not
Yeah.
disintegrating. Certain vertebrae are chipping away at each other. So that's what they mean. So fragments of these bones just float around, right?
Right. Yeah.
So with that came many therapies. They weren't working, so then I started getting injections into the spine, and I knew that that was extremely hazardous to my health because it
Mm,
is steroids and cortisone,
mm,
and that does assist in degeneration of your bones as well.
yeah. Yeah.
But it was like catch 22. I was walking with a cane, sometimes in a wheelchair. I I couldn't do anything.
Mm,
So
yeah.
there sometimes you're just so desperate, you'll do anything. So that started there, and
Especially like coming from your background of what you were doing as basically a fighter, you know,
mhm, mhm.
and then all of a sudden all that's taken away from you, and it's hard to all of a sudden, you're always full of energy and doing things, and all of a sudden you're you're stuck in a chair.
Yeah, that really broke me down,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's one thing if we cause ourselves an injury or if we do something to ruin our life, right? But it's
Mm,
another thing when it's stolen from you, or in some cases for others taken from you at the hands of another person. Is horrible.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's even just horrible when a disease all of a sudden comes along and changes your whole life as
Exactly.
well. So
Exactly.
as you know, yeah, well, we're all patients, right?
Yeah.
So we know what that's like. So then, once you're going through all your therapies, all that, I'm sure that they pounded you with some medications.
Oh, yes. They had no problem giving me all the painkillers, different kinds of painkillers, different milligrams, and I took them. Sometimes I had to take 2 or 3 at a time because the pain was just unbearable that these opioids didn't even work. And it got so bad, the pain, that I couldn't go on like this. So
Mm,
I saw and started reading about marijuana helping with chronic pain, and I asked my doctor to be a patient. I walked into their office with a box of pharma pills, all the kind of opioids, and I'm like, I can't take this anymore because I'm not going to be here if I have to keep taking these. I'm a vegetable. I have no life.
the zombie, as they say, you turn
Zombie.
into a zombie.
So she gave
Yeah,
me, she sent me to the appropriate clinic, and I received my medical patient license. And I was taking licensed producers oils for over a year with no improvement at all, complaining to my doctor this stuff's not working. Finally, I asked for my grow license. And then I started growing cannabis outdoors, thanks to some friends of mine on Instagram for all the help. But yeah, and I started growing organic living soil cannabis plants,
nice.
learned how to actually make my own oils, and started taking them. And I noticed an improvement in my pain in 2 months. I was still
Good.
using a cane and all that quite often, actually, but it wasn't until I tried the cannabis with the kratom that I stopped using a cane or never been in a wheelchair again, even after my procedures. I would walk up off the table and out that door. No problem. They
Really?
couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Now, I noticed that you mentioned you added cranium to it.
Yes. Kratom is a sun-dried crushed leaf off the kratom tree that primarily grows in Indonesia. My favorite strain is green Borneo, and that comes from the Borneo forest. And it's a tree that's related to the coffee plant, full of alkaloids. That's all that's in there. It's actually known to get people off of opioid addictions or
Mhm.
worse, meth, heroin, crack, all that stuff. But its pain relieving properties is top notch. It mimics opioids. So it
Yeah.
tells your dopamines that you've just taken an opioid, but you haven't. And that
And
was
then
the only thing that with the cannabis, took away my pain. Yeah, it's incredible.
sometimes it takes a little extra boost there
Yeah.
to get everything to work. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
because with the depression that came along with the injuries and the loss of my potential future, I was extremely
well,
depressed and
yeah.
fatigued all the time, fatigued, just so tired. So the kratom, the green, gives you a little boost of energy, right? And
Yeah.
it fought my fatigue, and I was able to go back to work. I mean, it was a beautiful change.
And what's wrong with it being able to go back to work instead of being at home like a zombie?
Exactly. But they want you to be like that because they want you to be
Yeah.
on the pill.
Yeah. Just so you know, we got another comment from a viewer, and I'm gonna say that they were discussing. I see Lisa's frozen.
Oh,
That she was discussing about the kratom. They said that you were right, organic natural is the way. And that's what I was thinking when you were describing the kratom. I heard about it all, but you're one of the first person to talk to me about being a leaf and being dried up and crumbled and stuff like that. And that's the first thing I thought is that person did. It's a natural
Yes. Plant. Beautiful. It's a beautiful plant. And thank you so much, Facebook user. Yeah, all natural is the only way to go. It may take a little bit longer for others, but once it kicks in, the organic side of medicine, it'll change your life for the better.
Well, I know of a business at one time that used to have it. This was years ago. They had it in display by their till. I went, what's all these things? And he explained it all to me. And I went, oh, okay. He said to me that I don't know if it's legal or not, but it works.
It's actually legal in Canada for now.
There you go.
America's trying to ban it, and we know that once America tends to ban something, Canada is right there behind them.
Yeah.
So we have to advocate and fight for all medicines.
Yeah, all medicines.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, well, it is the bottom of the hour, and it's time for us to take a break, pay some bills. All right. For everybody else, Tamara and I will continue our talk with our guest, Lisa Winter. This is the Pace Radio Show. We are here live on Facebook and YouTube. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Pace Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Welcome back to the Pace Radio Show. We're being broadcasted live here on the network's YouTube channel and our Facebook pages, and podcasted afterwards at Net today program. Tamara joins me as usual, and our guest, there's Lisa White, not Lisa White, sorry, Lisa Winter of Leaf This. I know Lisa White, so your name's close.
Okay, it happens.
Sorry about that. There. Okay, now before the break, we were talking about your accident, the fact that you were on a bunch of prescription drugs, used cannabis teas and kratom in order to kratom in order to help you through dealing with issues.
Now, I have a question. Where do you access kratom? Like, how do you get it in Canada?
You go to my website because I have some.
Oh,
I get it from Indonesia directly. I get it a variety of strains in capsules and in powder. I prefer
that's another
powder
question I had.
method.
Like, how do you consume it? Because you're talking to somebody that's I've heard about kratom, but I've never really actually been educated on kratom. So maybe you can educate me a little bit on it. Like, how do you take it? Do you ingest it in a drink? You take it in capsule? Do you smoke it? Like, how do you use it?
That's a great question, Tamara. So actually with kratom, you do not smoke it. You can sprinkle it on your food if you like. You can put it in smoothies, but it is a drink. A lot of people like it warm. I prefer it cold with a little bit of lemon in a cup. Now, depending on what strain you try, whether it's a red, green, or white, there's different doses for each color. Let's put it this way. White, high energy. I call it the anxiety strain because I'm an anxiety sufferer. So for me, white is not good. The green is my favorite because it does boost my energy. I'm able to work not only my day job, but also on my garden and on my business. And red is the best pain relief strain you will ever have in a kratom. Red Magnada is the best for chronic pain, any kind of pain, arthritis, anything, as well as insomnia, nervousness, extreme anxiety. The red will just help you calm down, but it is well known for its pain relief. So typically,
What about its interaction with other like pharma meds? Because some people do still have to take like insulin or like myself, I take an immune suppressing drug for my arthritis. Does it interact well with other, like what would you do with that? Like would you go off your pharma completely and try just that? Would you try like would it react? Like how would you recommend that to somebody?
I will say this, always do your own research to see if it will interact with what you are exactly taking, because there's lots of medication out there. Also, I am not a doctor, but I do know for pretty much a fact that you cannot mix kratom with any opioid at all. At all. You must wait 4 hours. So if you're going to take your pain reliever or your opioid in the morning, let's say at 7 a.m., you're going to have to wait 4 hours before you can consume kratom. When you're on the kratom, it will be in your body for the 4 hours. So you're going to have to wait another 4 hours before you can take another pain medicine.
Well, yeah, it's not the pain medicine so much that I don't take a lot of. It's not pain meds. It's like autoimmune suppressing, right? So I take methotrexate like once a week, and I take folic acids, but I don't take pain meds because the cannabis and with the methotrexate suppressing my immunity, my pain levels are under control per se, right?
Okay.
But I have flares, so I'd rather not have to take the pain pill.
Exactly.
So kratom could be used in effect. Instead of taking that pain pill, Advil, Tylenol, whatever, you would take, like, those aren't opioids either, but I mean, I'm not taking I don't take opioids.
Right.
No. So, you know what I mean? So you could take the kratom, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you would take the kratom instead of the opioid. Okay. Absolutely. Or any like pain. I want to say just stay away from any type of pain reliever. I have used an Advil or a Tylenol with kratom and I was fine, but I'm talking this opioids. Do not mix it with opioids because it overloads your dopamines and you'll have an
Right.
overdose.
Right.
Yeah, we don't
It's
need
just
any of that
too
going
much.
on.
Right.
And I would highly suggest, like, I take other medication because of my condition that from being, in an abusive relationship and stuff like that. So I was affected by it, and I have trouble when it's dark outside. So in order for me to be able to close my eyes, I take something called trazodone.
Yeah, I understand that.
Without it, I'm afraid to sleep because that's when the bad things would happen.
Right.
So,
No, I get that.
so I take that,
totally
and I
understand.
still take my Zoloft in the day. I really like it, and I do that with my kratom and my cannabis, and I'm fine. So I've never
Good.
heard of anything interacting other than an opioid with kratom. You said something else though. You said you have a low immune system.
Yeah, correct.
I
Yeah,
have an
both of us
overactive
do.
immune system. So I have rheumatoid arthritis. So anybody
Right.
with an overactive immune system then has to take an immune suppressing drug, right? To take it so that you don't. And I've got colitis as well, which is also an autoimmune deficiency as well, per se, because mine's lymphatic. So, but that's why I take the methotrexate, right? So it's an immune suppressant because I've got an overactive immune system.
Okay. So because kratom is all alkaloids, it actually has a molecule compound in there. Now, I don't want to try to say the name because I'm going to fudge it up, but it starts with a Q. I could find it for you somehow on the internet, but this molecule has been proven to combat, fight, and resist COVID. There was actually, in the very first vaccine, they were going to seek this alkaloid and put it into the vaccine. But because it was something natural, of course, the government put the kibosh. But it does build up and protect from illnesses. It's great for arthritis because I do have it in many places. So I feel for you.
Yeah,
Just so you know, the Facebook user says that Mother Nature knows what she's doing.
She sure does.
Right now, I question it. Right now, I'm questioning that. Does she really know what she's doing when she's burning the place down? I don't know. I think she's lost for nuts.
The good thing
Like, seriously, everything's getting burned. Like, I'm living right in the burning zone. It's like, I think she's PMSing hard. She's pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
you guys got started. I saw your pictures there, Tamara, of the Smoky Mountains and stuff like that.
There's a pretty active burning going on in the province again this year, and in the States right on the border. So it's pretty smoky.
Yeah, our Facebook user agrees. They're laughing as well.
Yep.
So.
I hope you're safe. I hope you stay safe.
Yeah.
Well, we got the closest one 14 kilometers away. So.
Wow.
Oh.
That's not that far.
That's getting close.
14 kilometers, 26 kilometers, 34 kilometers, another one that just started in radium. So it's, but it was like this in 2019 too. So I don't have my bags packed. Like, I'm right in the city too. So it's like, yeah, we should be all right. But then I keep thinking that's what Linton thought. And they, and Fort Mac and Slave Lake and all the big,
Well, your deer population must be tripling then.
It is. We've got babies in the yard. They've got spots on them. They're pretty cute.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, they're a menace. They're a menace, though. They're starting to overpopulate, and then they're starting to be aggressive, especially when they got babies. And they're chasing people, and they've beaten up a few dogs this year, and they're scratching people's vehicles, and people are not happy. So. Yeah, and they're eating people's weed in their backyards too, like the cannabis. People are not happy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So from your, you talked about drinking the tea and kratom and dealing with pain and stuff like that. Now, did you use anything else as far as to deal with your pains? Like Some people like topicals, salves, and things like that to deal with things. Did you do any of that stuff along the way?
Yes. So actually, I have a full line. I have oils, I have topicals, which, by the way, for my pain topical, I won last year's Indigenous Cannabis Cup award.
Nice.
Hey, the size
Congratulations.
of that pipe.
Isn't
Peace
that
pipe.
beautiful?
Peace pipe. Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
I
face
love
on
that.
the bottom.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
fish.
yeah,
Wow,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
That's
cool.
terrific. I love that.
It's quite some weight to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Is
imagine.
it soapstone or what kind of stone is that?
Oh, that's a
Is
good
it
question.
granite?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
It
well,
looks like it
see.
might be granite. That looks like it might be granite. That's
Perhaps.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite heavy. It is
It's
a
not
gorgeous piece.
not
That is
plastic.
beautiful.
It's
No.
not plastic. No, that looks
No,
cool.
definitely
Got a
not
face on the
plastic.
front too.
So yeah, so to get back to what you were saying there,
Yeah.
Al, so people started to notice me getting better, and but I still had this chronic pain, like I was getting injections, as I mentioned. So
Yeah.
I started looking on pain topical. It took me about a year of weekend mixing and trying different oils, different this, different that, to finally get this miracle of a recipe. And there's over about a good 30 at least. There could be more sometimes, depending, because I do customize them for certain illnesses or conditions, let's say. And so yeah, it took me about a year to find this recipe, and I started giving it away. I gave it to my mom for her arthritis. I gave it to a few older people in the building that I live, some friends. And I'm also a construction worker. So one of my coworkers had psoriasis, really bad psoriasis on his hand. So I said, here, try my skin topical. Within 2.5 months, it was completely gone. And
Oh,
everyone was like,
nice.
you need to market this. Like, this will help so many people. And so that's how Leaf This actually started. And I started making the topical. First was the oils, then the topical. I'll show you here if you like.
Yeah.
Not sure how to turn around the camera.
Oh.
That's not it. Okay, we'll do it this way.
Oh, okay, there you go. You got your display right there.
How's that?
I can see it, but there we go. That looks good there. Yeah.
Okay, like that. All right, so this is the pain topical here. Wow, that's difficult. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is. This is a 600 CBD honey. This one is 2,000 milligrams of THC, and these are 2 ounces.
Wow.
Then I started making my own RSO here.
Nice.
And I actually make the alcohol myself. I make a 190 proof food grain ethanol, and I extract the cannabis myself. So I grow the cannabis and I extract it, and I make the RSO.
Very good. That's awesome.
Yep. And
What else
then
about there? Some salsa?
yeah, so this is the famous Italian. Here, let me just do it like that.
Yeah, camera's frozen. I'm not seeing the sauce.
Okay, how about now? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I'm not. She's not frozen for me.
Oh, isn't she? Okay, she's frozen
No,
at mine.
she's not frozen.
Oh.
Yeah, she's not frozen.
There she is.
All right.
There it is. Okay, so that's your famous Italian what?
That is my famous Italian pasta sauce. And it's all organic vegetables from our garden. I'm Italian, so you know that this is some good stuff.
Right?
Yeah, well, just so you know, Scott's still watching. He says, looks great, saucy.
Yes, thank you, Scott. You should try some. So this is a recipe handed from my grandmother to my mother to me. And
Wow.
people die for this sauce. My other sister sells it, not infused, for like $40 in a mason jar in California.
Wow, that's
Wow.
crazy. That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
so now you're infusing this.
And now I'm infusing it, and I think it's like $30.
Oh,
And
nice.
this is 350 milligrams, but I can make it any dose you like.
So you can do custom dosing.
Custom dosing. Yeah.
Yeah, custom
Perfect.
dosing. Yeah. And then we have some peanut butter here. I'll show you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And this is all organic as well. I roast the nuts myself. There's no sugar in here. It's sweetened by nature. So it's great for diabetics, hypoglycemics, any vegans, anything like that. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think in your information that you sent to me, you mentioned about your products or, I think we lost her. Hopefully she finds her way back in because I can't get her back in. She's accidentally, when she touched her phone, she left the room.
She got herself kicked out. Everything
Yeah.
looks super interesting though, right? Like peanut butter and some sauce. Like that's great stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's things like I know when I was back in those early days, I was trying all that stuff, making all those different things. You know, there's only so many hours in a day, right? So
That's where I came down to too. Like how many, then when it goes, but then you end up with inventory and then it goes bad. Then what do you do with it? You can't eat all your own sauce because then you'll be
no,
real saucy.
that's
You'll be
right.
sloppy
Right.
saucy.
All right, just so you know,
There
Lisa's
she is.
back.
Right on.
Sorry,
I
guys.
you must have hit a button on your screen. Like I didn't know what kind of phone you got, but I know with my iPhone, like you just look at the screen. Sometimes it thinks it's been touched. It's just drives me up the wall.
Yeah, so it's not easy with these hands, right? I lost some of my motor skills, so
Yeah.
I do apologize.
No, don't. It happens. Like we do it to ourselves all the time. Trust me.
Yeah.
Won't be the first time or the last, I'm sure.
That's true.
Oh, all of a
So
sudden
yeah,
my
I
light
completely forgot where we left off. I was just so petrified that I didn't.
You were showing us your sauce and the peanut butter.
Oh yeah, and the peanut butter, yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome. So you've been doing this for how long?
so I launched Leaf This in November of 2019 during COVID
Yeah.
because I found a lot of people would have benefited from it, especially at that time. So that's how it started. And then I relaunched again in February. I did have a previous partner, but that ended. So I just relaunched again. And I make everything myself in my home. I grow everything myself. And if it was any fresher, it would still be in nature.
Right. That's amazing.
Right.
That's amazing.
Thank you. And these are all medicines that actually help me. And I want to say I have not used a cane or a wheelchair since 2016 at all. Not even maybe in the winter of 2017, but after that, never again. And
Good.
I don't have
And
any
you work construction. So
and I went back to construction. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Like it is amazing that there's so many people that have benefited from like the use of natural medicines. For therapy or whatever it is, right? So
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like there is benefits, and of course we're seeing this, and of course the government is seeing it too. That's why we've had the medical marijuana program in Canada for as many years as we've had it. Of course, we've had to fight as patients and take them to court because they still want to regulate and overregulate and overregulate. But at least we're here. And I mean, a lot of people aren't happy with legalization. I'm not happy about all the aspects of it either, but at least people aren't getting arrested.
Exactly.
Right? And people that wouldn't use cannabis for medical before because it was illegal now feel comfortable enough to actually start researching and start looking into using cannabis for medical reasons, rather than knowing that it's illegal and having to possibly go be charged to help their health. Now they don't have to worry about being charged to help themselves with their health.
Or
So
even
even
find cannabis that's tainted, that
right.
has other stuff in it. Yeah.
Right. So again, like I said, before legalization, a lot of people would have never thought about cannabis as a medicine. We're
Yeah.
now, because we've educated them on medical, and they know that there are aspects of cannabis. Because even back before it was legal, people would say, well, smoke a joint, calm down, relax, right? So
Yeah.
people always knew in the back of their minds about the devil's lettuce having some relaxation and help with, mental health, whatever the case may be. And then they want to demonize it with schizophrenia and all these other things that I still am not, I don't believe that for a heart, for a half a minute. But again, there are so many benefits to it, and now people at least have access because they can go into a store. You know what I mean? They can get somewhere where they can actually, do the research online. Like 20 years ago, you couldn't Google marijuana and have all the information come up about it. Now we can. So we've made some great steps forward. And I think that there's only more steps to come forward with legalizing all drugs like psilocybin, mushrooms, kratom, like you said, is legal in Canada. Even legalizing the harder drugs. Like, I'm not saying I want to see, meth in a store, but at least that meth will be tested and, you know what I mean, and not be killing people.
A product.
I was just
Just
showing
so
you
you,
there's
just
some
so you
penis
know,
envy mushrooms that I just got. Oh, they're great.
I blew a bulb. All of a sudden, I went dark.
I was thinking, what the heck's going on now? You lost your light.
Well, I thought Gail turned the lights off on me, right?
Yeah, where's Gail? Just come in and say hi.
She's down upstairs.
Oh.
And then I looked over and I realized, oh shit, I blew a light. But just so you know, Lisa, we got Scott's asking some questions. Scott's asking, what is your website? Because he still uses crutches, and he does.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Scott. But you know what? I'm pretty sure we could find something on the site, including the kratom. There's lots of information on there that I would like you to read first, okay? The website is www.leafthis.com. LEAFTHIS.com.
And just so for our viewers out there, there you are. There's the website right there.
And that's the greatest thing. Kratom, like you said, is a leaf. Cannabis is, buds and leaves. Like, anything they think that, is growing from the ground that, is here to be benefited by us, right? And I think that's a great thing that, there are other natural things. Like I said, even mushrooms. Myself, I'm not a big psilocybin fan. For me, I'm on the psilocybin, but I don't dispute that it's helping other people. And I'll advocate for it even if it's not right for me, right? And that's how I feel. Even if kratom's not right for me and other people are benefiting from it, they should be able to use that legally, right? So
I agreed. That's the way it was meant to be.
Yeah.
We're all supposed to use what is on this earth to heal us.
Well, as our Facebook user friend says, it's natural. It's not something that's chemical based, and if it can be used safely.
Well, like I said, even cocaine comes from a leaf.
Like,
you know what I mean?
It has to be processed, right?
Right, because we had Dana Larson on the show before, and he's got the Coca Cafe in Vancouver, and they're selling coca leaf. So you know what I mean? Everything that they're wanting to, like even heroin for, comes from the poppy. So everything that we do have that, they've, bastardized, been made it into pharmaceuticals or made it so all comes from the earth. All of it.
Right, but it's touched by man and processed by man, and that's when it becomes harmful.
Yeah, well, like you said, the poppy, here we poppy.
How many of us eat a poppy seed bagel? I mean,
right?
Yeah.
But again, right? So again, we know that, man's always got his dirty little hands and everything, right? But
exactly.
Everything naturally starts naturally. It's just, men's greed. Man's greed.
Always greed.
Yeah.
I say we get rid of money and go back to bartering and trade days.
I've been saying that for 25 years.
I'm with you, girl. Let's do it.
Yeah.
There's still people out there on that system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
so I wanted to say I agree. Like mushrooms also, I don't like things that mess with my head or visualization. I'm afraid of what's in here to come over here. So but I agree. Through the advice of a psychiatrist, actually, I started microdosing mushrooms. to help not only with, it didn't really help with the pain, but it helped with this pain.
Yeah.
And I was just taking a 0.4 up to a 0.6. And it helped me. I did it for 3 or 4 months and I feel great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Like I said, I'm not disputing it helps people. I've never really taken the time to actually try.
Just a micro dose. Like you don't even feel it, right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing. A lot of the medicine is great, but if we start misusing the good herbs, we can get ourselves into trouble, like kratom. You don't want to misuse kratom. You don't want to start taking 10 grams in one sitting. The starting dose for a green is 2 grams, 2.5 grams. The red is 3 to 4 grams. You don't want to take 10 because then that's when you'll start hallucinating and see the bad side.
Yeah.
Same with,
you don't want to get to. Yeah.
It's not a good hallucination, trust me.
Yeah, no. Like, and I don't like,
know.
that's why I don't like mushrooms. I don't like to, I don't want to be out of touch. I don't like being out of control. I don't like, that's why I don't drink alcohol too, because, you know, alcohol is all fun to you. Drink the the one that pushes you over to you're blacked out drunk and you don't know what you're doing and you're out of control, right? So I don't like feeling that's why I like cannabis, because I know that I'm never going to be out of control with cannabis, you know?
Yeah, you'll never be out of it. Right.
No.
All right, ladies.
The worst that'll happen to you is to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Fall asleep, exactly.
Yeah.
Break time. Time for break number 2. Tamara and I will continue our talk with our guest, Lisa Winter, once we get back. This is the Pace Radio Show. We are live here on our Facebook and YouTube channel.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Growing your own cannabis is easier than you think. Whether you're growing for recreational or medical purposes, BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. From the standard 4-plant recreational systems to the latest cutting-edge hydroponic equipment, BMA can customize your package and do it at discount prices. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and ask us for a free estimate. Or call 613-967-9888 and we will give you an estimate over the phone. The only way to go.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to savethevcbc@gmail.com. I guess those are the 2 easiest ways for people to help right now.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Pace Radio Show. Today in the program, Tamara and I are joined by our guest, Lisa Winter of Leaf This. All right.
Hello.
Lots of people like leafing things. I know that because there's all kinds of products made out of 50,000 items. The last I knew it could be made out of cannabis. So there's lots of things. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. First part of the show, we're talking, Lisa, we're talking about your story. Second part, we're talking about your products and the stuff that you made. Is there? I'm sort of gonna look ahead, but before we get into that, I'm just wondering: is there anything that you would like to still touch on when it comes to some of the items that you've got with that you have available?
Yes, at Leaf This, I really put a lot of effort, strive, and I'm known for integrity. The products that we carry do not have harmful chemicals, and that goes even as far as our shatter. You can see here what a beautiful color that is.
Mm-hmm.
And this shatter, we don't carry anything that is extracted with isopropanol. We do not carry anything that has CRC, vegetable glycerin, or I believe it's called pine. Nothing is added to our shatters. Most of our shatters are solventless and lab tested. But my favorite shatter for pain and mental health, hands down, is a clean BHO shatter. And that's what you see here.
Right.
I see that you've got.
What strains do you have?
I've got many strains going. I have Iranian Kush, Pine Tar, a Rockstar Tuna, Death Baba, MK Ultra, Comatose. The BHOs, the best BHOs are the Death Baba, NY Sour Diesel, and Pink
Those are my two
Anxiety.
favorite strains. You got Sour Diesel. I can never find Sour Diesel.
I'm
gonna have to hit you up later.
It is so good.
I love Sour Diesel. New York Sour Diesel is my favorite strain. It's super hard to find.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But you can find it at leafthis.com.
Right on. Right on.
And
good to hear.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's awesome to hear.
You mail deliver across the country?
I do, all Canada wide.
All right.
I wanted to take a moment to show you my ACD flower, which is what I use mostly for my CBD products. And that's because it's 20% CBD. And I just wanted to show you, I don't typically use, shake or trim to make my oils or my topicals or edibles. I actually use whole nugs.
Buds.
I don't know if you could see all the frost on that ACDC.
Yeah. It's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Isn't it? All the nuts. Like, look at the size of these guys.
Can we?
Beautiful.
I'm going to scratch.
Scratch and sniff.
Scratch and sniff.
So you can rest assured that I put a lot of effort and love. And if I don't use it or smoke it, I'm not selling it. Period. People have tried to offer me really low prices for distillate and this. No way. It's low, it's cheap, it costs $10 a gram because it's made with extracted with isopropanol. I have integrity. I can't offer that to someone, especially someone who is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a healing medicine. Remember that, guys.
That's right. Scott could see the frost on it. He said
air condition his house. You're amazing, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what I'm wondering is going forward, as far as maybe some things that you've got planned with your business end of things, as far as whether maybe you're going to try to jump into into the legal world, or whether you've got some new products that you're working on that you'd like to mention. Anything along that line?
So yes, I'm looking actually to get into some stores on the reserves. I support the Indigenous community. I donate 10% of my sales to territories around my area. I also donated to the Women's New Birthing Center in Mohawk, and I like to support those who are entitled to the support. Currently, I have sweaters that I'm selling, and I believe it's 20% of the purchase goes to Yukon territory. It goes to somebody who's doing Cure the Crisis movement, and that is helping the Indigenous people there get off the opioids and teaching them how to harvest and grow and use marijuana to heal them.
Nice.
So, and that's something that is near to my heart, and I donate that. I also have a Can of Honey for Cancer Patients program. So anytime somebody purchases a jar of cannabis honey, okay, that's the 2,000 milligram of THC, all full spectrum, by the way.
Full spectrum, nice.
I then donate 1 gram of my homemade RSO to any cancer patient in need. If they are taking RSO, or if they're interested in taking RSO and they are on a limited income, that's the only stipulation, then they will be the receiver.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's nice when you can do that. I know that, Scott, you mentioned about the opiate addictions and the reserves and stuff. Scott, who I've been sharing his comments with you tonight, is featured in our commercials that we ran during the program on an opiate situation in the reserves and trying to create healing centers with his program, which is called Pass the Peace Pipe.
Okay, great. Yeah, I want those details after the show there, Al, if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah.
And in the future, I really want this topical to be everywhere. I've already have it in a massage therapy rehabilitation center with a chiropractor and a masseuse, and they've been using it on their patients who obviously requested it or allowed it to be used, and the feedback has been incredible. So I'm looking to get into that side, but I was thinking about going to the pharmaceutical companies, but they would just destroy it. So I like where I am.
Sometimes they just end up taking your knowledge and your technology, and then the rest of it all sort of fades away, and you're out of the picture.
Yeah, the thing is, they're gonna taint it.
Yeah.
And then it's not gonna work. Right.
Well, yeah, you take a wheel off of a bus, and the bus doesn't go down the road right as good as it once did, right?
That's right. That's a good one. Yeah.
So
I like where I am, but I do want to get my line into areas of people who really need real whole plant medicine that actually does help. I tested a licensed producer's pure CBD oil. I'm not going to say who, and the results were dumbfounding. It came back that the entire bottle had 5% THC and 0.5% CBD. And they're advertising it as a pure CBD. So,
well, we know that they have recalls often on mislabeled products.
Yeah.
But none of them have any more than about 0.03% or CBD in them. They don't, like, it's recreational. Like, that's the difference where we're at with legalization. They're not pandering to your health. They're pandering to the recreational, right? So they really, CBD is for medical, so you can't really expect the recreational market to have it, even though we know they should have it. They're not looking to cure or help anybody's health. It's recreational market, right?
Yeah.
That's what we
the
kept
way it
telling
is,
us.
right?
The stores are recreational. The stores are
Yeah.
recreational, but yet you
Yeah.
can go there and you can buy suppositories and facial cream. Like, I don't know anybody who sits around on a Friday night putting facial cream on, but
Or
I guess
use a
it's some type of
suppository.
entertainment.
You're hilarious.
Like, here, bend over, let's have a party.
Well, yeah, I was
Although I
talking
will
with some
tell you
with some
that
people.
the suppositories work.
Oh, yeah. Put your
Oh
bed.
yeah, because
Put your
actually
sleep.
we absorb only 30% through
Yeah.
ingestion and 80% rectally. So just
Right?
imagine the buzz.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, how is that recreational? It's not. It's medical. So
No,
why is it in the
medical.
local recreational stores?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
like
and I went in.
face cream's not
I went in.
recreational. Like lotions and topicals aren't recreational. How
I know. Well, I was in a store recently, and they actually had a wellness section inside the store, and I was going, "Well, hang on here." I thought, wouldn't wellness be the same thing? Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Scott's at it
here we go
again.
with the word.
Scott's at it again. He says,
Yeah.
Tough.
I find suppositories tough.
They're a little waxy.
A little waxy. Well, they actually, I was involved in the test for some suppositories, and yeah, that was the result. Was that it was waxy.
It was a little waxy.
Yeah.
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 You have to really,
Yeah,
that's one thing with
there's
those.
some
Like,
things
you really have
floating
to know what you're doing, like when you're making those and what product to use
Yeah.
that's proper, that's not going to harm somebody, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the product completely dissolves. You don't want anything that's still sitting there floating in your body. You want it to dissolve
Yeah,
and to be able to do its
exactly.
thing, right?
Yeah, I used to make them, but then just with the pain in the hand, they were really difficult for me to continue making. But I sure did miss them because, wow, it would get to my sciatic nerve pain like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
But now I
Yeah.
replaced the suppositories with the Sleepy Time tea. It's called Sleepy Time tea because it's relaxing. But the St. John's wort in here is excellent on sciatic pain. And I use whole organic, expensive herbs and roots. I use roots, everything. I use the entire plant. When we start taking away cannabinoids, we start decreasing the full potential of this magical plant.
yeah, I agree.
That's right. So I
Yeah.
say, take the tire off the bus, right? So
Right.
it's never good
Yeah.
that way. So, so you want to get into some more indigenous stores? I assume on the reserves and stuff like that. And you've got your website now. I saw you, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. I saw you at the ICC. Is there any cannabis event that are coming up that maybe that you're involved in or that you're going to have a booth at that people could find you?
I'm planning to be at the next Lifted Market and the December markets, either at Fiddler's or at Tallgrass.
I've heard of the Lift Market. Yeah. The Lift Market.
Tallgrass
I saw that
is
was
another great
advertised.
event. Yep. Unfortunately, I will not be going. Well, I won't be going as a vendor to the Karma Cup, but I'll be there on Sunday.
Yeah. You're going, yeah.
I'm going as a patron.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Go down and see what's going on.
Yeah, it would be my first time coming there, so I thought, let me enjoy my first experience. Yes, I've never been to the Karma Cup before.
Oh, yeah, I've been there a few times when it was the festival. Good times. There's no doubt about that. A lot of people.
Right?
Like when you squeeze between 5,000 and 10,000 people into a parking lot in one day.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Why the booths are those prices, because I was like, wow, that's a pretty big price tag. But now I can understand why. But I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm not going to tell you which category, but I did enter the cup for the first time. So fingers crossed.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully, hopefully you win.
Well, even if I don't, it's a great experience.
Well,
yeah.
next year I'm gonna revive the Kootenai Cannabis Cup, so you can come out and enter mine.
I would love to. I would
Yeah.
love to. It'd be my first time in BC.
Yeah.
Tamara's involved with the Mum Cup in like connection wise and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, there's a Mum Cup out in Hope. Well, it's actually like sponsored by 3 Happy Cats and 12 High Chicks and Cannabis 420. Yeah, so it's a great big huge weekend festival out in Hope, BC here at the end of the month. So, and usually it's the 24th, 25th Kootenai Cannabis Cup. So it's not my cup, it's Asia's cup, but it's kind of we do things, yeah. So anyways, yeah.
Amazing. I'll be there.
Mail order marijuana, Mom.
Yeah, Mom. Mom cup, mail order marijuana.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because there's still lots of moms out there. That's the thing. You're a mom too, right?
Yep, I am.
Yeah. And I believe Asia's on next week talking Mum Cup.
She is, yeah.
I'll
Asia
be sure to
Maynard,
tune in.
She will be on next week to talk about the cup, yes.
Yeah. All righty. What we got? We got about 10 more minutes. So is there anything that we haven't discussed that we should? We've touched on your accident. Oh, by the way, how were the other people in the car? Like you told us about yourself, but how were the other people in your car?
The passenger had a dislocated shoulder and also back damage. And the people in the back, most of the 2 were okay, but the one had severe back issues as well. Right. And actually, we used to go to therapy together.
Right.
Yeah. But I think she got some injections in the spine and they helped her. For me, I was getting up to 10 to 17 injections throughout my entire spine, hands, knees, and ankles twice a month.
Oh. Yeah.
And it went as far as me going in for a procedure called ablation, where they actually put tubes into the spine, and then they go in with these tiny little wires and pliers through these little cylinders, and they cut and solder the nerves, so it won't send the signal to that you're in pain. Unfortunately, that is not a permanent procedure. So I would have to go through that excruciating pain, being awake, and 5 months of recovery every 1.5 to 2 years. No, thank you.
Yeah, no.
No.
I was so unable to care for myself that I had to stay with my mother for 5 months.
Yeah.
I mean, God enough that me and I'll have to do the colonoscopy as often as we do. That's invasive enough. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, epidurals. When you're about to give birth, they there's concerns about putting, that needle in. So.
Well, yeah, I would get that every 3 months, 1 leg at a time.
Yeah.
At the hospital.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'd be passing on that too.
And it hurts even worse because I've got a tattoo back there, and they have to go through the ink because of the damage to the tailbone and the lower the spine from the accident. It's they gotta hook it, so they have to go through the ink. And if you're a woman who has a back tattoo and had an epidural, you know how bad that pain is. It actually burns, and the anesthesiologist will tell you that it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Yeah.
So
I pass them. I didn't have no epidurals with my babies either because there's no way. No.
Good for you. Wow, you're
incredible. Go childbirth. I'd rather go. Well, the other one was he was a C-section. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you're incredibly strong.
No way, there's no epidural. You're not sticking nothing in my back.
Yeah,
We're just nice.
But as I
something-
mentioned earlier, when you're so desperate and so much pain, you're gonna try anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything not to feel it again.
Yeah.
That's desperation. And out of that became Leaf This.
yeah,
Real
yeah,
plant
exactly.
healing medicine, man.
You know, you found
It
something.
really
You found
helped.
something that worked for you, and you want to share it with others.
That's right. That's all I want to do. I'm not here to make a profit off of it. I have my own job in the day. I want to help as many people who have given up hope as possible.
Good. Good.
There's a way. There's
Yep,
hope.
there is. There's always got to be hope. And people that
Yeah.
are living in chronic pain live in despair. So good for you. That's an awesome thing to be doing for people.
Thank you.
Patients helping patients.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
what it's been. It's been like that for decades. Like I know ever since I've gotten involved in that, that's what it's always been about. Like when the 420s, maybe a lot of people look at the 420 rallies as something that's it was very popular, but I remember the day here in Ontario where there was only one 420, and people would go to that rally down in Niagara Falls, and it was being held by patients, and patients were sharing their oils and stuff like that with each other when they were going to them. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's always been.
What a way we've come. We've still got a lot more work to do, but
that's right, exactly. TY, patients by written by patients by patients. It's just everybody's always helping each other, and that's that's how things have grown. It's how it's gotten to the point where we are.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
All right, we're down to the final 3 minutes, Lisa.
All right.
All right, I got my buddy Scott here. He's got a message there. He's letting everybody know that Saint Fatty's Day is October 17th. It's the new 420. Because I was talking about
very nice.
Scott has come up with he's behind the Saint Fatty's Day celebrations for October 17th, and he's doing a lot of promotion on that. To let everybody know, that's we gotta have a holiday that way. It makes sense. We're doing something for 710 now with all the dabbing. We've got our 420. We've got our Global Marijuana March. St. Fatty's Day, October 17th, the day that we have.
I love it.
Why not celebrate?
Love
Okay. Like Tamara says, it's not 100% perfect, but there's 60,000 less people that's being arrested for cannabis in the last
and that
year.
was just in 1 year. So you take that,
we're
into that's just the statistics from Stats Canada from, I think it was 2020, right? Again, people are, at home and COVID and everything else, but people had access. They made it an essential. Like, when did you ever think that cannabis would be an essential store that had to be left open during COVID, right? Right? So it became an essential. So, like I said, I'm not happy about everything either. I'm just happy that the footprints that we left and the doors that we knocked on and the politicians' minds that we changed and the policies that got changed. I'm grateful for the work that has been put in by many people across this country. So, that's all I have to, we can only make it better, right? It's not going to go backwards. It's not like legalization. And all of a sudden they're going to knock the door and say, oh, you can't smoke weed anymore, blah, blah. That's not going to happen.
No.
We have legalization now. It's just got to be, just keep banging on them doors. Just keep talking to the people that you have to, because we don't want the wheels of the government to stop turning. Because if we do, then what's the end game on that?
Yeah, and now you can, if you have 500 pounds in your house, you're allowed to have 500 pounds in your house. Like before,
there's no limitation, right?
Away, right?
You can mail 30 grams. I got busted for mailing out 4 grams and did 6 months house arrest. Now you can mail out 30 grams legally. So be grateful for what you've got, because I've got a criminal record for trafficking for selling out 4 grams in a mail. So be grateful. Be grateful for all of us that fucking did our time, because it was a crime.
I was going to say thank you to the ones before and thank you to the ones after. Keep on the good fight.
It's what it is. It's just a wave of groups of people, every few years.
Always
there's
moving
new
that
people come
motion.
in,
Just keep the motion
and
going.
things change. So, all right, Lisa, where can people find you? Shout out time, all that stuff.
Okay, so you can find me on my website at www.leafthis.com. You can follow me on Instagram at leaf_this.kitchen. And that's it.
That's
My
it. All
email
right.
is leaf_this@protonmail.com. Don't worry, it's on the website. And I also have a business phone line there for you to call me if you're in crisis or you need someone to talk to or you need some help. I'm there for you.
Good. So leaf this
Well, it
stuff.
was really nice meeting you, Lisa. It was really nice having you on the show.
It was amazing being here. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Al, for inviting me to be part of this special show. And keep on fighting, guys. You guys are doing great.
Well, thank you very much. All right, Tamara, you got anything you want to throw in there before we leave? Shout out. Thanks, anybody.
Mom Cup, August 24th, 25th. I'm hoping to be there. Other than that, Harvest Fest was last weekend. I'm happy to see that was a great success for Debbie and the guys out at Mountain Maritimers United for Medical Marijuana. And that's about it. Have a great week. I got to go back to work because it's a rodeo.
Yes, you do have to go back.
Tomorrow.
You do have to go back to work, don't you? I forgot about that part. Yes,
I didn't, because my boss was texting me, "Are you on your way yet?"
Coming shortly. All right, just a reminder that we'll be back next week with our special guest as we mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking Mom Cup and more. You can find the Pace Radio Show on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can also find us at paceradio.net. Thank you to go to our sponsors, BMAhydroponics.com, Legacy420.com, drbuckcts.com, as well as the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Huge thank you to our guest, Lisa Winter of Leaf This.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on the show and sharing your story with everybody. Tamara, I can see you're in a hurry, so we'll talk to you soon. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in the program. And good night.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.